Thanks for enabling my screen. So yeah, let me introduce myself first. I am Shiva. So I have overall 8+ years of experience. I work with DevOps technologies. I work in the DevOps field uh, with multiple techs involved in them actually. So you know what's the DevOps techs involved, right? So I am a certificate holder. Like I'm a certified administrator of Kubernetes. I'm certified Terraform associate and the uh, AWS developer associate. So this course is purely for Jenkins. This course is entirely only for Jenkins, and this course takes 15 days to complete. Okay, so daily 1 hour session, 15 days duration. Okay, and the classes will be there from Monday to Friday, but not Saturday and Sundays. Okay, so what we are going to discuss today is the syllabus, what this course contains, and then we are going to discuss about the project that we are going to do at the end of the course actually. Okay, so the two things we are going to discuss today, one is the syllabus, the second thing is the project that we are going to do. Okay, so let me share my screen before moving further. So let me go here and share it. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Right. So now, 1 second. Let me go here. Yeah. So this is the syllabus. Let me go through. You need to first understand that what are all the things that we are going to see as part of this course. Okay, the first thing that we are going to see is Jenkins introduction. Okay, as part of the Jenkins introduction module, we are going to see introduction to continuous integration and what is continuous deployment. First, see, before going to the concepts, you need to understand some terminologies. What is continuous integration? What is continuous integration? What is continuous deployment? What is the meaning of that? First, you need to understand that. Okay, so the popular tools for CI/CD in the market. Okay, there are many tools in the CI/CD for the market. So CI/CD represents continuous integration and continuous deployment. That's a shortcut for CI/CD. And what are the popular tools that we have? Why the Jenkins is only the famous tool as part of the market that it currently. Okay, so that's what popular tools in the market. That's what we are going to see. So, introduction to Jenkins and installation. So, this Jenkins is a software that need to be installed in some virtual machine on some server. Okay, so how to install that, how to use that. Okay, so that's what we are going to see as part of this point. Introduction to Jenkins and installation, creating an explanation of the master slave architecture to execute Jenkins jobs. Okay, so instead of having only one Jenkins server, we can have multiple Jenkins servers connected together. Okay, how to do that? How to do that? That's what we are going to see as part of this. Creating an explanation of master slave architecture to execute Jenkins job. That's what this point uh, meaning is. Okay, the next part that you are seeing here is master slave architecture using SSH. There are two ways that you can connect multiple servers together as part of Jenkins. Okay, one way is directly executing the commands, and the second way is using SSH, secure shell, we call it as. Okay, so how to create master slave architecture using SSH. That's what also we are going to see. Now, using Docker containers as slaves or agents. Okay, slaves or agents. See, if any terminology is not clear uh, in this particular session, please do remember this will be very clear because it's just a syllabus. I need to help you with the syllabus, what we are going to do. Okay, so it will be very clear when we deal with the concepts actually. Okay, using Docker containers as slaves or agents in order to run our Jenkins jobs. Okay, so that's what we are going to see as part of this. So this is a cost-effective manner. If you use multiple servers as a to connect each other together, so that will be costing for you. Okay, so costing for the organizations. So what they did is they are using Docker containers as slaves, so that the cost will be very less for their Jenkins to run actually. So that's what the use of this actually. Explanation of technical terms in Jenkins. Okay, so before going to Jenkins, actually, you need to first understand what is an agent, what is a slave, what is controller, what is job, what is plugin. Okay, so all these things, what is node? Okay, all these things that you need to understand before that. Okay, each and every terminology you need to understand so that other concepts in the Jenkins will be very clear for you. Okay, so that's what we are going to see. Jenkins terminologies. Okay, the important terms that we call in Jenkins actually. What is the meaning of node? What is the meaning of uh, controller? What is the meaning of slave? What is the meaning of agent? What is the meaning of plugin? What is the use of that? Okay, so that's what we are going to see as part of this explanation of technical terms in Jenkins. Okay, once we have completed this introduction part, we will be moving into Jenkins deep dive. As part of this Jenkins deep dive, we are going to have multiple things in this Jenkins deep dive, walking through the Jenkins console. Okay, walking through the Jenkins console. So Jenkins is a console, it's a UI, user interface, it's a software or the UI where we can interact with that application. So where what is there in that particular application? So I'm going to walk you through that Jenkins console. Creating freestyle project and pipeline syntax. Okay, how to create the freestyle project and the pipeline syntax. Please do not worry if it is not clear here because it's just a syllabus. Okay, so we will be going through each and every point that we are having here actually in this course. Okay, creating and working with pipeline projects. Okay, creating and working with pipeline projects. Creating or and working with multi-branch pipeline project. Okay, that's what we are going to do. Executing different stages of pipeline on different machines. Machines here, in the sense, machines means agents or slaves. Okay, so different executing different stages of pipelines on different machines using labels. Okay, that we are going to use labels and to execute different stages of the pipeline on different machines. Okay, so the next part, exploring various options that we have as part of creating pipelines. We have multiple types of pipelines actually. Okay, we have parallel pipelines, okay, serial pipelines, something like that. We are going to see actually. Okay, post build actions of Jenkins pipeline. We have something called post build always. Okay, on failure, success. Okay, so something like that. We have some post build actions. About it we have, so we have post build actions. That means after the pipeline is executed, after the Jenkins pipeline is executed, what should be done, that is that things that you can put as part of the post build actions. That means suppose after the pipeline is successfully executed, I want to send the notification to Slack channel. Okay, some Slack channel. Okay, so that's you can do as part of this post build actions. Okay, so that's what we are going to do as part of this course. What are the different post-build actions that we have? Okay, so now the next part is Jenkins integrations. Okay, so in this Jenkins integrations concepts, we are going to integrate Jenkins with GitHub to fetch the project actually. So we are going to have our project in the GitHub repository. We have a application project in the GitHub repository. So we are going to integrate that project with the GitHub, something like this in the first point. The second point is Jenkins integration with SonarQube to check application vulnerabilities. Okay, we are going to integrate our Jenkins with the SonarQube. How to do that? That's what we are going to do. Okay, Jenkins integration with AWS S3 to store artifacts. Jenkins integration with Docker Hub to store Docker images. Jenkins integration with Trivy to scan Docker images. Jenkins integration with Kubernetes to deploy our applications. So how to integrate all these things we are going to see as part of the Jenkins integrations module. Okay, once we complete this integration module, we move towards a configuration. Okay, you see here, as part of this Jenkins configuration, we are going to have configuring credentials in Jenkins to use them in the pipeline. Suppose uh, you need your username and password in order to use in the Jenkins pipeline. So you should not directly enter your username and password in your Jenkins pipeline, because it is not a secure manner, because everyone will be able to see your user and password. So how to store them securely as part of the Jenkins using credentials as part of the Jenkins? Actually, that's what we are going to see as part of the Jenkins actually. Okay, so that's a configuration. And next thing as part of the configuration that we have is configuring custom environmental variables with Jenkins pipeline. How to configure custom environment variables, shared libraries, and configuring shared libraries with Jenkins pipeline. Actually, what is shared libraries? Okay, what is shared libraries and how to configure shared libraries with the Jenkins pipeline? That's what we are going to see. Configuring Jenkins pipeline with parameters. Okay, how to configure Jenkins pipeline with parameters. That's what we are going to see. Configuring Jenkins pipeline with Blue Ocean. What is Blue Ocean? What is it used for? And how to configure that? Actually, that's what we are going to see. And how configuring upstream and downstream projects that we are, what is upstream and downstream projects as part of the Jenkins? And then we will be seeing that as part of this actually. Okay. Configuring predefined environmental variables with Jenkins pipeline. We have two types of environment variables, custom environment variables and predefined environment variables. So how to use them? Using plugins with Jenkins. Using plugins with Jenkins, that what we are going to see. Exploring Jenkins stash and working with it. Okay. So what is Jenkins stash? Why it is used, and all these things that we are going to see as part of the Jenkins actually. Okay. So after this Jenkins configuration, we are moving towards the Jenkins administration and troubleshooting. Okay. So as part of this Jenkins administration and troubleshooting module, we are going to have configuring Slack notifications for Jenkins pipeline. Suppose once the pipeline is completed, I want to receive Slack notification to my Slack channel. Okay, let me open my Slack actually. So it Slack something looks something like this. Okay, so we need to configure Slack notifications from your Jenkins pipeline. Actually, once the pipeline is executed, I want to receive notification that saying that pipeline got completed with this success code actually. Okay, so how to configure that? Okay, Slack notifications actually. Okay, monitoring Jenkins setup with Prometheus and Grafana. Okay, Prometheus and Grafana were the monitoring tools that we are going to uh, uh, integrate our Jenkins with. Okay, in order to monitor the Jenkins actually. User and role management in Jenkins. Okay, how to manage users. How to manage users actually. Okay, suppose I am a developer should not have entire Jenkins access. He should only be able to build the pipelines in Jenkins. He should not be able to install something on the Jenkins, something like that. So how to perform that, giving only particular access to particular people. Okay, so using user and role management. Okay, we call it as role based access control. Uh, as a technical term, but yeah, that's how we deal with actually. So that's how to do with that Jenkins. Do that with Jenkins. We are going to see here now. Backup and restore required things from the Jenkins machine. Okay, so what is backup? So backing up means suppose you are using Jenkins, you don't know that on which day what problem appears, so that you cannot log into the Jenkins and all the things actually. For as a safe side, you need to regularly back up Jenkins. Okay, you need to regularly back up Jenkins data. Okay, if any problem appears with that Jenkins machine currently having, so you have a backup data and you need to restore using that backup data to the new Jenkins machine, how to do that backup and restore required things from the Jenkins machine. That's what we are going to say as part of this actually, how to backup the Jenkins and how to restore the Jenkins from to the new machine actually, some new Jenkins machine. That's what we are going to see. Troubleshooting the issues faced as part of this Jenkins. What are the different issues that we may face as part of the Jenkins? We are going to see all these things as part of the troubleshooting, because troubleshooting is very important as part of the DevOps. Okay, so you need to understand how to troubleshoot the issues and all these things. Okay, that's what we are going to see as for troubleshooting the issues. Okay, so the projects, I'm going to explain the project after this actually. Okay, uh, as part of the diagram, but not here. We are going to do a project with a combination of Jenkins, Java, Maven, SonarQube, S3, Docker, Trivy, Kubernetes, on all these things. Combinedly, we are going to do the project. It's a full-fledged CI/CD pipeline we are going to see as at the end of the course, by monitoring involved, by Slack notifications involved, all these things. Actually, I'm going to help you with the diagram today. Okay, so this is the Jenkins syllabus that we are going to see as part of this Jenkins in this 15 days actually. Okay, so 15 sessions, I mean. Okay, so any questions on this syllabus, please, before moving to the Jenkins project diagram? Anyone have any questions? No? Yes? Okay, so let's move towards the project actually. Okay, what we are going to do as part of this Jenkins project. Uh, Let me remove this part, not required. So I am a developer. So in this Jenkins project, what we are going to do, this is I am a developer. Okay, I am a developer. So what this developer does, this developer develops some code. Okay, some application. Okay, so application, he will write some application code, something like this is a developer. Okay, uh let me write it here. Developer. So this developer, what he did, he has written some code, the application. He has written some application and pushed that code to some GitHub or whatever their organization uses. So like Bitbucket, you can store the code in different places. Bitbucket, GitHub, AWS code commit, and all these things actually. Okay, let's think this developer has pushed his code to this GitHub repository. So let's see, this is a GitHub repository. This is a GitHub. This is the GitHub repository. Okay, this is a GitHub repository. Okay, so once the developer has, this is the project actually that we are going to see as part of this is course actually is a end project CI/CD pipeline, full-fledged CI/CD pipeline. Okay, this is the developer has pushed his code to GitHub repository. Once the developer has pushed his code to GitHub repository, our Jenkins pipeline is going to be started. Okay, so our pipeline consists of multiple stages combinedly known as a pipeline. Okay, so now our Jenkins consists of pipelines, and pipeline consists of multiple stages. Let's think the first stage. This is the first stage as part of our pipeline. So here is where Jenkins comes into picture after this place. Okay, once the developer has pushed his code to the GitHub, this GitHub triggers this Jenkins pipeline as part of the Jenkins. Trigger this Jenkins pipeline as part of the Jenkins, something like this. Okay, so how to configure this one? We are going to see how to trigger this one whenever someone pushes this code to GitHub repository, developer pushes this code to GitHub repository. We are going to see using webhooks actually. Okay, now this is the checkout stage. What this checkout stage does in the Jenkins pipeline? This is the checkout stage. What this checkout stage does in this Jenkins pipeline, once the developer has pushed his code to the GitHub repository, this GitHub triggers the Jenkins pipeline. Okay, so This checkout stage as part of the Jenkins pipeline will download all the code that is developer pushed to the GitHub repository to the Jenkins machine. Okay, it downloads all the code which is pushed to the GitHub repository to the Jenkins machine. So that's a this is stage number one. That is checkout stage that we have actually. Okay, checkout stage that we have actually. Okay, the next stage as part of our Jenkins pipeline will be the build stage. This is the second stage that we have. It is going to be the build stage. Okay, so now this is something like this. This one you can put as part of your resumes as well, this project. Okay, this is going to the build stage. BUILD build stage. So your project is downloaded to the Jenkins machine. Okay, in the checkout stage, your whatever the developer project is there that is pushed to the GitHub repository, Jenkins downloads that project from the GitHub repository to the Jenkins machine. Once the project is downloaded in the first stage, that is checkout stage, in the build stage, the project will be built actually. Okay, the project will be built. Okay, that's what the build stage is. How to build the project, I'm going to explain you, but yeah, that's part of the different things actually. So the project is built in the build stage actually. The checkout stage downloads the project from the GitHub repository, and the build stage builds the project actually. Okay, the next stage as part of this Jenkins pipeline is going to be the test stage. Okay, this is going to be the test stage. So what this test stage does actually, so there will be some test cases in our project downloaded in the first stage. Our project will be downloaded, right? So that project contains some test cases written by developers only. So that test cases will be executed as part of the test stage. These are called unit test cases actually. So that test cases will be executed as part of this test stage. Okay. In the next, we have another stage like this. We have something called static code analysis stage. Okay. This is going to be static code analysis stage. That is where our Sonar Cube will be coming into picture. We are going to integrate with Sonar Cube actually, something like this. This is going to be our static code analysis stage. Here comes our Sonar Cube. Static code analysis. Sonar Cube. So here comes our Sonar Cube actually. Okay, so this is the static code analysis stage. See what this static code analysis stage does is Sonar Cube does actually. So if any errors present in your project actually, if any duplicate lines project in your project, if any vulnerability is present in your project, so that shows that this is a error, this is a vulnerability, this is a duplicate lines, all these things. So it suggests to remove that and all these things that performs that will be there as part of this Sonar Cube static code analysis. Once this static code analysis stage got completed, there is one more stage, that is storing artifacts stage. This is stage number. Okay, this is something storing artifacts. In this stage, our artifacts. What is an artifact and all these things we are going to we are going to see as part of the course. But yeah, our storing artifact stage. So storing artifacts. So what this storing artifacts means is storing some files to some place actually. So we are going to store some files to S3 buckets as part of the AWS. So how to do that, we are going to see. This is stage contains storing artifacts. Okay, so let me put something like this. This is going to be storing artifacts. The next stage that we are going to have is uh, Docker image build stage. Docker image build stage. So this is going to be Docker image build stage. What this Docker image build stage does, it builds the Docker image. It builds the Docker image. See, before doing all this automation, I am going to do manual stages. I'm going to explain you how to do this manually. So you with automation. First, you need to understand manual steps, then only automated way you'll be understanding actually. First, I'll be explaining you manually how to do, but and then we are going to do all this automation. Okay, so the next stage is Docker image build stage. So in this stage, the Docker image is built from our project that has been downloaded in the first stage, in the checkout stage. Okay, the next stage in our pipeline is going to be the Docker login and Docker image push, or let me put it here, Docker login stage, Docker login, Docker login, and tagging. Docker logging and tagging stage. Okay, we are going to perform Docker logging in order to push our Docker image created in the previous stage in this stage. So see, do not worry as of now, please, because we are going to see each and every part very clearly as part of the course. In this stage, Docker image is built. The image need to be pushed to Docker Hub. So for that, we need to perform Docker logging and tagging. So before pushing that Docker image to Docker Hub. So the next stage is pushing Docker image, pushing Docker image. So this is going to be pushing Docker image stage. So here we are going to push the Docker image, Docker image to Docker Hub. Pushing Docker image to Docker Hub actually. Okay, we are going to push Docker image to Docker Hub. That's what we are going to see as part of this stage. And so once the pushing of Docker image to Docker Hub got completed, the next stage is going to be deleting Docker images, cleanup stage. Okay, we are going to see cleanup, cleanup, cleanup action stage. So this is going to be cleanup stage. What this cleanup stage does, so as part of the pipeline, different files and the things generated will be cleaned up in this particular stage, because we need to regularly clean up our Jenkins machine so that we will not face any problems regarding space, regarding storage issues actually. So you need to regularly clean up, that is the data generated by this pipeline. That's a cleanup stage. The next stage in this is as for the post build actions actually. So so here, what will happen is you are going to have post build actions stage that is like this. So what this will do is this will send notification to our Slack channel saying that your Docker image is ready in order to deploy. Okay, this is post build action stage. Post build actions stage actually. Okay, so this is going to have something like this. This is the stage. So here, once this pipeline is generated, executed, this what this post build actions does is, it's suppose this is our Slack that is there in our laptop. This is our Slack. This is our Slack. Slack is this one. Okay, this is software. Okay, this is Slack. Okay, so you have something like this. Okay, this is Slack actually. You can see that these are the notifications that we have received. So this Slack, this stage sends the notifications to Slack after the pipeline is built, after the pipeline is executed. Actually, with whatever the status, the pipeline is executed, with that status, the Slack gets notifications. This is the Slack. Slack. Okay. Okay. So once this post build actions got completed, what we are going to have, we are going to have one more thing that is called triggering downstream job. This is something called upstream job. Okay, we are going to have one stage input. We are going to take input, something like this, to trigger downstream job or not. See, please do not worry. It will be very clear in the course. This project is, we will be very clear with this project. Yeah, this is going to be the it is going to ask you whether to trigger the deployment job or not. Okay, so that's what it is going to ask you. This is the stage that is input stage, something like this. Just think input stage. So this is the upstream job entirely. Okay, this is the upstream job entirely. How many stages we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stages we have as part of this upstream job. As part of this upstream job. So now, now what we are going to have, we are going to have another repository. Suppose this is going to be another repository. This is, let me do Control Z. We have another repository that we have in the GitHub. So let's think this is going to be another repository. What this repository is, this contains Kubernetes YAML files. Okay, what are the Kubernetes YAML files? All these things we will be seeing that, but yeah, not now. Okay, this is another GitHub repository. GitHub repository that we are going to have as part of the GitHub. Okay, so now, now this is the GitHub repository, right? Let me differentiate something like this. So our pipeline will be there as part of the Jenkins. Okay, now there is one more stage, that is this stage in the pipeline, one more pipeline in the Jenkins. So if this pipeline, the first stage of this pipeline is checkout stage. Okay, checkout stage, checkout stage. So what this checkout stage does is this checkout stage downloads all the YAML files in this second GitHub repository. Okay, so now the next part, in this pipeline is going to be the update stage. We are going to have something like update stage. Update stage. So what in this what this update stage does? What are the files downloaded from the GitHub repository? These files will be updated with some changes because a new version of the application is released in the above pipeline. So that changes will be updated in this YAML files that is downloaded. Okay, that's an update stage. Now, once that update stage got completed, your changes will be pushed back to the GitHub repository bank. Okay, something like this. This is going to be push changes. What this stage does is pushes the changes to the GitHub repository back. What are the changes it did actually? Something like this. It pushes the changes to the GitHub repository back. Okay, now what we are going to have is we are going to have our Kubernetes cluster. We are going to have our Kubernetes cluster here. Okay, this is going to be my Kubernetes cluster, the K8s cluster. Okay, so this Kubernetes cluster, we have something called component called Argo CD that we are going to see will be deployed as part of this Kubernetes. This is the Argo CD. So what this Argo CD does, this Argo CD will be continuously monitored for the changes that are performed in this GitHub repository here. and perform if any changes that have been happened in the GitHub repository, that Argo CD deploys that changes into the Kubernetes cluster. Something like this. So the first pipeline is going to trigger the second pipeline, something like this. This input, it is asking you whether to trigger or not. After, if you say to trigger, this will trigger the second pipeline. Check out something like this. Okay, then it performs all these things. And if this push changes has been happened to this GitHub repository, the changes which is pushed from this pipeline will be directed by this Argo CD, and this Argo CD deploys the changes to the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, now all this Jenkins pipeline, this will part of all this Jenkins is part of one. Let me help you with that actually. So this is entire Jenkins. This is entire Jenkins. Right? So this part will be entirely done in Jenkins, right? So this Jenkins part is monitored by the Prometheus and Grafana. Let me write that here. Okay, this is going to be the Prometheus, which will get the metrics from the Jenkins machine. This is going to be the Prometheus. Prometheus, and we are going to integrate that with Grafana. So something like this. Okay, so this is going to be our entire, what is this Prometheus and Grafana is for the monitoring purpose, how many jobs are being executed, and what is the CPU of this Jenkins, that's what the memories that been used, and all these things will be monitored using Prometheus and Grafana, something like this actually. Okay, so now see, this is the entire project that we are going to do as part of this Jenkins. Okay, Jenkins course actually. What this project contains, there are two pipelines in this project. One is for the integration purpose, continuous integration, and the second one is the continuous deployment purpose. Okay, so here in the first pipeline, that is the upstream job, this is going to be the upstream job. This is going to be the upstream job, upstream job, and upstream pipeline or upstream job, and this is going to be the downstream job or downstream pipeline. Okay, this is going to be the downstream job. So in the upstream job, what it does, our project will be there as part of the GitHub repository. Our project will be downloaded to the Jenkins, and our project will be built. Our project will be tested. Our static code analysis will be performed as part of this project. Storing artifacts will be the will be happened in this project. So Docker image build will be happened. One more stage is there in the middle. Docker image scan, the vision preview actually. So we are going to add that stage here, and then you will be performing Docker logging and tagging, and then you will be pushing the Docker to the Docker Hub, and then you will be cleaning up the Docker images or the files that are generated as part of this pipeline, and then post-build actions will be triggered as part of this post-build actions. You will be getting the notifications to your Slack channel, and you will be asked to input to trigger the deployment job or not. If you click on proceed, the deployment job is going to be triggered. What this deployment job does, it downloads all the YAML files from this GitHub repository and updates the YAML files that are being downloaded, and whatever the push updates are being there, that will be pushed back to the GitHub repository. And what are the changes that are performed in the GitHub repository by this pipeline, that will be the changes will be detected by the Argo CD, and Argo CD deploys that changes to the Kubernetes cluster, and our application will be run, new version of the application will be running as part of this Kubernetes cluster. And our entire Jenkins is monitored by the Prometheus and Grafana, together actually. Okay, so that's what we are going to do as part of this entire Jenkins project. Actually, it's a Jenkins project that we are going to do at the end of the course actually. Okay, so it's a full-fledged CI/CD pipeline that you can put as per the resumes and all. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask any questions, please. Anyone have any questions?
Hi Siva, this is Ajit here.
Yeah, hi, Ajit.
Yeah, sorry I joined a little late. So actually my question is regarding this course. I am from automation testing background. I have very little like knowledge on Jenkins. So my objective of this course is to join this so that I can deploy my project in the Jenkins by creating the pipelines also. Will I be able to achieve that objective at the end of this course?
Yes, you need to know how to do it manually first, and then you can automate using pipelines actually. You can do that.
Okay. So this pipeline creation, everything will be taught here.
Yes, how to
So
create the
is there
pipeline,
any
how to
specific
deal with it.
language which we use for pipeline creation or how it
No,
is?
no, it's not a language, it's a syntax we need to use. We are not going to use a language, anything. But if you have multiple complex pipelines, people uses Groovy scripts.
Okay. Otherwise, this setup
Is
is
enough. Yes,
fine for
yes. Yeah.
you. Okay. So how many days it will take to enter this course?
If it takes 15 days,
Okay. So
between
15
15 and
sessions.
20. Yeah, 15 sessions, not days. Yeah, 15 sessions.
Okay.
Okay. That's entirely the Jenkins course that we have seen. And the Jenkins, where is that? Yeah, the Jenkins course. And yeah, this is the Jenkins course. And the project that we are going to do as part of the Jenkins is here. Okay. One prerequisite for this Jenkins entire course is having an AWS account. I'm going to show you how to create an AWS account tomorrow. Okay. Uh, it's very simple as creating your Facebook or Instagram accounts. Okay. So that that I'm going to show you tomorrow how to deal with that. And then we will be moving further with the Jenkins actually. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can ask. If not, we will be meeting tomorrow. Okay. Any questions? Okay. If no questions, thank you. Thanks for joining. I'll meet you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.